The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Wake up, Cowboys Nation. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Brianna Aldridge, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison. Ladies, we got a Victory Monday! The Cowboys getting the job done in Week 5. Don't you love hearing the sound of that? They get the win.
Yes.
Over the New York Jets. There's their first road win against the Jets since 2003. The final 37-22 complete game, all phases clicking. We're not gonna talk about that Brandon Aubrey field goal or extra point, but it's fine. It's fine. He can get a little extra, sometimes, but it's fine. The Cowboys, of course, like I mentioned, clicking in all phases. Christy, you were there. Bree, you were there. I mean, just talk about how good it was to finally see these guys clicking.
Cowboy takeover not only on the field but in the stands. I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than the Jets fans leaving in the third quarter. So
they left early. They
left early. On the
good.
home sideline, it looked by the middle of the third quarter, it looked like a preseason game. I mean, the preseason game, there were maybe less than half the fans left. But behind the Cowboys bench, kudos to the Cowboys fans for repping yesterday. And if you were listening on the radio, it sounded like it was a home game for the Cowboys. But yeah, to do what they did against a Jets defense that was best in the league in terms of points allowed defensively, to do that, missing 80% of your offensive line and 2 of your top 4 wide receivers, Dak still looking like MVP caliber. The chance of MVP started after the George Pickens touchdown. Yep. And every good play, you heard more, and then he was serenaded as he walked off the field and up the tunnel. And I know he says, I don't care, it's just Week 5, but, it was very satisfying.
Yeah, he said, I heard of it, I didn't hear it. What you got, Bree?
You heard it. No, everything Chrissy just said, I walked in the game, I was like, oh, maybe it's just because, we get there 3 hours, 4 hours before game time for everything. And once the kickoff, someone next to me was in the press box. They're like, oh, look, an empty stadium. It was pretty not filled, but what was filled was a lot of blue and white in there. So anytime there was a penalty called on Dallas, it was a lot of booing, which was hilarious. So it did feel like a home game. But this is everything you want, right? We're talking about how they had 2 winnable games coming up back-to-back, talking about Carolina next week. And I know there's got a little backlash when I mentioned the tweet and showed Pickens was actually waited for Dak in the tunnel when he came out, and they did this little
it was cute,
adorable dance together. And I was showing this is what happened right after MVP chance came. And then people were like, are we getting excited because he did this against the 0-4 Jets? No, we're getting excited because he's been doing this consistently all season. And I think it's fair when you think of MVPs, you think of wins, but who was in the conversation before? Lamar Jackson. They're going off the rails right now. The Bills, who just went completely flat last night offensively and got their first loss of the season. So Dak is arguably the MVP when you're talking about who's playing the best football. And to put up 37 points, great, but also what stood out, this defense held this team to 3 points for, 3 quarters?
Yeah, till late fourth quarter.
That's the story for me. They played complimentary football for the first time in my eyes this season.
All right, yeah, we're going to dive into this defense. I don't want to show them some love because they've been on the chopping block the last 4 weeks.
Chopped. You hear me?
Literally chopped. But I do want to ask, what stood out to you guys overall about the execution? Because you look at just the possessions. Obviously, the Cowboys don't come out and score a touchdown, but they get 3 points on the board. But then they come back their next drive and take off some time on the clock, end up scoring on that drive. They pretty much scored on most of their drives throughout the night, but even defensively, I mean, you look at theirs as well, holding the Jets to 3 and out, the first one. 4 and out, then a punt, 5 and out. I mean, guys, this is the best they've played all season long. Just what stood out to you, ladies, execution-wise? Aisha, I'll give it to you.
I think the first thing that stood out was, I think when I went back and looked at the broadcast view, is some of those sacks are covered sacks. Cover sacks. I think obviously going up against someone like a Justin Fields, your goal is to contain him, and I think that the Dallas defense did that pretty well. They were willing to give up some of those interior runs, which I still didn't like, but they were willing to give up some of those interior runs and stuff like that, as opposed to having to deal with him escaping on the outside and really hurting you downfield with his legs. I thought the defensive line, obviously, they were able to get pressure. This is something we talked about with Eberflus, is that he's not a coach that's going to blitz a whole bunch. He's not going to do a whole bunch of fancy exotic fronts, but he did mix in some counters, some stunts, and we talked about it here on the show that was something that the Jets offensive line did struggle with. I like that they took advantage of that, and those guys were able to get home more than what we've seen with 5 sacks on the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yeah.
So I think the mixture of, this is the first time that I've seen that the rush matched with the coverage, is that they were married together. And I attribute that to having some of those veterans back out there in the secondary. Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, Reddy Stewart. I think they really steadied the ship. And, the guys also, to the speed. There felt like that these guys were a little bit faster to the ball. Felt like these guys just had some energy, and they seemed like they really got up for this game. Mayor's Leofow set the party off with the punch out, but the energy from the defensive side of the ball, there was a confidence with them, and they played their assignments really well. So that's what stood out to me initially. What you ladies got?
Yeah, the Leofow play is what changed everything. Yep. You just felt it in the building, and a catalytic play. So great for Marist. I also want to point out in the second half, the defense had 2 stops on fourth down, and change of possession there, and those were short 4th and 1s. Now you can kind of question the play calling for the Jets on one of those, but kudos to them. But they did get after Fields. But to your point of the run defense with Breece Hall, and he was second in the league in explosive runs, behind only Bijan Robinson. So that's something that they've done a good job all year with the Jets with their run game. And it was worrisome when he's getting those explosive runs on first down.
Yeah, it was stressing me out. Some of those interior runs.
Yeah, if the Jets were not so self-implosive, I mean, just, oh my gosh, mistake after mistake and penalty after penalty, and just shooting themselves in the foot, this would have been a much more competitive game. But I was very happy for Flus and the defensive staff and every one of those guys. And James Houston, speaking in the locker room after the game, he had one of the sacks, and it was interesting. He says, I have personal goals. And I said, do you mind sharing them publicly? And he says, well, I want 1 a game. So that would be 17. So not on pace for that, at least so far. But, it was nice to see the pass rush, which certainly had its best game of the year.
Yeah, most of these injuries going into this game were on offense. So the defense really didn't have a lot of changes. I know Hooker obviously there at safety, but these in Sanborn once the game got started, but the injuries were on offense. So Matt Eberflus didn't have no savior coming in. Like, he had to work with what he had. And like Aisha said, they were able to get home and they were able to bring the pressure. I mean, there was a joke after the game asking Dak, did you think you were going to have more rushing yards than Justin Fields? I don't think anyone did, right? But Justin Fields was, contained. And that is what we talked about going into this game. It's not just he's mobile and he can get out of the pocket. He is part of the Jets' run game. Like, he is literally typically, if under Breece Hall, that's who they have at running back. And there was another thing that popped up. Every time I get excited, somebody's always trying to ruin my day on
That's
Twitter.
how they be doing it.
Because I had talked about, I was like, is that back-to-back sacks from the Cowboys?
Yes, and that was huge.
Someone said, we're getting takeaways, we're getting sacks, we're not stopping the run, we're back, baby. And I was like, I'm so tired of y'all.
Can I say one thing about the back-to-back sacks? What was so important on that? Brandon Aubrey had kicked the ball. The kickoff was out of bounds, and the Jets had the ball at their own 40-yard line. At that point, the Cowboys had just taken a lead, a 10-3 lead. And so the Jets were in prime position. All they needed was 1.5 first downs to be in range for Nick Folk at 40 years old, who still has a big leg and can kick a long one. And then those back-to-back sacks, not only did it thwart any potential scoring opportunity, but it flipped the field back. So those were huge. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, no, that was an exciting time. It was just so many things we've been complaining about, haven't seen. They all just started to come together. Like I said, they held this team to 3 points for 3 quarters. That is, I don't care who they're playing. That's impressive. Other teams haven't been able to do that. And then I think another thing is there's some guys' jobs that are on notice. Both sides of the ball, but defensively, I mean, when guys had to come in, and some of the younger guys that we've been talking about, they took advantage of those opportunities. And when people heal up, it's going to be interesting to see who's on the field and who's not.
That's what I was going to ask you, ladies, because it seemed like there was like a shift in energy when Shamar James came into the fold. Of course, Maris Leofow. They were flying. I don't know. They were just flying faster to the ball, playing with a little bit more instincts. The tackling definitely improved. Did y'all see like a shift in energy? I mean, Christy, you're on the sidelines. Did you see a shift there? No?
Well, I mean, they've been trying to get young guys on the field. I mean, Shamar, since he's been active, he's gotten plays. It's not like he's just been sitting there playing special teams. So, and then Wanye, I mean, he's been a reliable guy when he's gotten his opportunities. Malik Hooker was on the sideline, by the way, helping out the young guys. He is in a walking boot with that toe injury. And the fact that the Cowboys placed him on injured reserve on Saturday, just the day before the game, means that he's going to miss at least 4 weeks. So Wanye's going to get a lot. Elijah Clark was elevated. Not elevated from the practice squad, but signed from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. He didn't really get any defensive snaps. Wanye got them all. But there is an energy that young guys bring. And just one other thing in regards to the defensive line, someone who wasn't involved in the sack party yesterday was Marshawn Nealand. And that was truly a game day decision. So Marshawn hurt his ankle in practice last Thursday. And he went, soon as the team arrived 3 hours before kickoff, he went out on the field and did a workout for the Britt Brown, the director of rehab, and then the coaches and training staff, and he just couldn't go. So they were down one player at the defensive end rotation. So Ezraku got even more snaps than anticipated. His playtime continues to increase over these last couple of weeks. But to your point of the young guys, yeah, it's fun to see, but it's because, they're getting chances to play early and not just when forced into the situation because of injury.
Yeah, the difference on the second level, I think the speed that you get to see from there, I mean, Shamar James led the team in tackles. I actually tweeted, I said, that baby better be died. Because you could tell, because Justin Fields wasn't seeing a lot downfield, he was just checking it down to the tight end over and over and over again. And Shamar James, the difference is, and that's what I would say to you, Bree, Nicole, and Christy, is the difference between Sanborn, when he was out there and we saw last year, the last 2 weeks, teams have attacked the middle of that defense. And the difference between Shamar James yesterday, and I think what we've seen with Sanborn, unfortunately, is that when Shamar James tackles someone, they're tackled right there. There's no extra yardage, that took place after. There's no yards after catch after that. And I think that made a difference in the game. But also, too, Dante Fowler, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Hello. We've been looking for you, big dog. It sounds like a small thing, but I think overall, when you look at this defense, if this is nothing else, this is a confidence building game for this defense, and them trusting the system, the new system that they're in, and trusting what the coaches are telling them. And I think it was good for them to see results from them doing what the coaches are asking them to do at that point. So, the pass rush is what really made the difference. And I think we heard Trayvon Diggs talk about the fact, after the game, he said, when they rush like that, we can do almost anything we want to do. And we know that secondary, that's kind of how they want to play. They want to be able to take some risks because the pass rush gets there. They want to be able to do that. And this defense on the secondary hasn't been able to take the ball away a lot because of the lack of pressure. So hopefully this is something that continues. And I also will say, too, in regards to Wanye Thomas being on the top, Calvin Watkins reported that Malik Hooker is dealing with a ligament issue in that toe. And he's been dealing with it for a while. So Wanye getting out there, I do think that you get some, because he's younger, the energy, all that stuff. I think you get a little bit more range at this point, given where Malik Hooker is, and we hope that he's able to recover and come back. But I think the corners trusted their safeties also yesterday. I think Donovan Wilson, because Wanye has the ability to man hash to hash, was able to come downfield, come down and tackle. And he I mean, my God, Breece Hall, ice up, son.
Oh, yeah.
Ice up. They was lighting him up yesterday, and that was one of the other things that I enjoyed seeing from the defense, is that they were very physical.
Yes.
And they let them know, even when the Jets did get yardage, you gonna think about it the next time you decide to do it. And that was the energy that I liked from the defense. So to your point, Nicole, I think those younger guys did give you a little bit of a spark.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, they brought the energy, and like I said, everybody who you've been looking for to take that little, and you can attribute to who was on the field, who was brought in, Matt Eberflus, the energy, knowing you needed a win. All those things, I think, just played a role, and they just came together at the right time. Like Shamar James, of course, he stood out, and he's going to make for conversation.
So proud of him.
What comes next for who's out there. Donovan Ezaraku looked like he was getting things together. Osa had a great game.
Yes, don't sleep on Osa.
Yeah, Osa had one of his best
Solomon
games.
Thomas, a big tackle for loss
he doesn't
early.
get
That
enough
was a
credit.
That was a big play. He was the game captain yesterday.
He doesn't get enough
Yeah,
credit.
a former Jet. He spent 3 years with the Jets.
yeah.
You're right.
Of course.
You're right. He don't get it. We don't talk about it.
Yeah. And Fowler's been a missing piece, and he's been up and down. So
Hey, Fowler, you talk about using your head, right?
Bye.
Yeah, man. If he didn't have a visor across his face mask, I think the point of that football would still that ball would be lodged in his face mask.
Poor Dante.
So yeah. Justin
was trying to
Fields
figure out
fires
what
one
happened?
out to the right, getting pressure, and it doinked off. A double doink cost Kenny Clark a chance for a pick six, rumbling, stumbling down the field. So Justin Fields fires one out. Fowler's trying to rush in off the edge, and the ball just right off of his face, up in the air, hits the Fox Network Skycam.
was that Kenny Clark trying to find me?
Meanwhile,
He was like this.
Kenny Clark was tracking the ball. He was ready to pick that sucker off.
Like
and
Yogi Bear.
the ball hit the Skycam and went
so
straight
slow
down to the
motion.
field. And I'm like, Kenny Clark could have had a touchdown.
You know what's childish? They played it on replay in slow-mo.
It
It was already in slow.
I'm glad they did. I was trying to figure out what happened.
It was already kind of in slow.
Don't talk about Kenny like that.
No, we
Sky
love us
cam.
some Kenny.
It's sick.
Last time I was at Jets, the whole camera fell off, and they had to I think it's the Jet. They got to get their.
It was
Well,
literally
that's
it
what-
made it look so bad.
Well, that's why that's why Nicole, my bad. That's why Nicole mentioned earlier that, Dallas hasn't won there in forever. We said 2003.
Quincy Carter was the quarterback. The last time the Cowboys won. In 2003, Quincy Carter was the quarterback. Bill Parcells was the head coach.
Something weird always happened there. Something weird always happened there. So that's why for them to go in and to just take care of business real early was refreshing.
Yeah.
And that's different. Because normally they be horsing around low key.
Hey, by the second quarter, the Jets fans were out. So the announcer's trying to get him going. Whenever there's like a first down, and the Jets PA announcer's like, and that's a Jets, and everyone's supposed to yell, first down. And by late in the second quarter, they did get a first down, and it's like, and that's a Jets.
Wow.
Christine,
That's terrible. My photographer who's shooting the game, he said that there was a fan looked directly at the Jets sideline and said, you ruined my Sunday. Yeah. And walked out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true. You
They're having
know,
a bad time.
JETS, jets, because they can't spell airplane. I don't know if that's really true or not.
You're
I don't
going
think
to
so.
jail.
I don't think so.
The door.
No, that
It's a time
Hey,
for a break.
I just repeating what I heard, but I don't think it's true. I do not think it.
Listen.
Actually, I like the Jets fans because they're passionate, but they just got. Their team did not give them anything to cheer for yesterday.
Well, I know the Cowboys fans are happy about that win. I know there's been some times where they've kind of left the stands early, so I know they felt good about being able to watch the game from home, or if they were there, stay the entire time. So Cowboys get the win. We're going to take our first break here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, and up next, dive more into this defense because, hello, they need their flowers. Come on. We're going to take our first break and be right back.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for us. If the men in your life bleed blue and silver like we do, I've found the perfect way to elevate their game day rituals. Gillette just released their best razor in Cowboys colors, and it is everything a Cowboys fan could want. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor combines his Cowboys pride with Gillette's best shave. And with 50% longer lasting blades, it is truly the gift that keeps on giving. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's best shave is also available as heated.
Cowboys Nation, limited single game tickets are available right now. Get ready to bring the noise as you watch your Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium when they host NFC East rivals Eagles and Commanders, plus the Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, and Cardinals. Visit DallasCowboys.com/tickets or SeatGeek.com, the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
I know you want to get your tickets now because they actually look good. Woo! All right, Cowboys get the job done. Like we've talked about it before, but this defense obviously still in the show. Ladies, I want to go around our table and say who our X Factor was on Friday and kind of elaborate on our guys. Aisha!
My X Factor was Marsley Fowl. I thought that the way that most of the Jets turnovers have been via fumble. So I literally was like, punch the ball out. And obviously he had that big punch out as the Jets were driving down the field. It really flipped the game, like Christy and Bree said, and it changed the energy of the game. Even though we know that he is going to make some mistakes and things like that, I think the more playing time he gets, the more under control he'll play. But I think that he toes the line of being a little crazy. And I enjoy that, and I think it adds good energy to the defense. So Marsley Fowl was my X Factor.
Loves it.
Mm-hmm. Mine was Wanye Thomas getting the start in place of Malik Hooker. He was second on the team in tackles with 9. And, it was so cute before the game, guys.
Oh, I see.
We know that his brother, right? And so I don't think their mom dressed. I don't think Stephanie dressed them, but they were wearing matching T-shirts before the game. So cute. And then the cleats that he presented to his brother after the game, pink, and it said with black letters on the pink. One shoe said Stephanie's Kids, and the other said One Way, kind of like Wanye, but One Way, and Christian crosses on the toe. And so anyway, so that was heartwarming afterwards, them having their brother moment. Great day for the Thomas family. But played very well and very involved. So
yeah.
We're 2 for 2 so far. Bree, who did you have?
I had Trayvon Diggs, but I was kind of cheating looking at the entire secondary, just talking about him being, back in the starting lineup and having, Deron Bland in there on the other side. And their longest chunk play was 25 yards they gave up in the passing game and didn't give up a touchdown until you got to the second half. And then they were kind of, what do they call it, garbage time when those points started to come. So I thought the secondary held their own yesterday.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mine was James Houston. Woo!
What? We're 4 for 4.
Everyone. 4 for 4. Let's go. He played 22% of the snaps per next gen. But obviously you saw how effective he was. 1.5 sacks. He leads the team in sacks so far. 5 QB pressures. Matt Eberflus talking about earlier this week, how he should get more playing time. Well, we finally got the answer to that, and we saw the results of it. So, this defensive line finally getting some consistent pressure, and I felt like it was kind of infectious as well. The rest of the guys stepping up. Sam Williams, we haven't talked about him much as well. What'd y'all think about his play on Sunday?
I would say it was his strongest game, don't you think?
Yeah. He was able to
had the fumble recovery.
Yep. Yeah, that was huge. He was able to get some interior pressure. Saw him using some of his power to drive some of those guys back. And, I feel like every now and then, he'll have a penalty that is not helpful in the moment, but obviously the effort is there from him, and we saw him actually too. He flushed Justin Fields out of the pocket, chased him down, stayed true, did not jump or do anything crazy. Just so I think with some of these guys, the more reps they get, the more that they'll be able to make the right decisions in those moments and get more confidence at this point.
Yeah, I saw Sam Williams doing his little dance coming out many times last night. His energy was up there. He was able to definitely make an impact. But again, it's like he does all these great things, and then there's those costly penalties that come. And then I'm looking who is that? I know who that is. Yeah. So those have to come. And as a team, they're still
we definitely
double-digit penalty game yesterday. Yeah. So that's one thing.
We knew that this crew was McFlag.
Oh yeah,
flag happy
it was
over officious.
Wild.
No, that was a herky jerky game, and
absolutely
so frustrating to be a Jets fan. Jerky? Golly, herky jerky fits and starts not smooth because
they always call
because there's and don't blame the officiating crew. That was some poor play.
Oh yeah,
some of it.
Some of it,
But some of it is.
Some definitely some crews call it tighter than others. That's for sure.
11 penalties for 91 yards. My God, we got to figure that part out. I'm very happy about the performance, but the Cowboys definitely have to figure that part out because
you can't line up. You can't line up offside.
I think Jadeveon Clowney was in the neutral zone.
Wasn't it too many men on the field again?
Too many men on the field.
Yeah, they got bid on a substitution. Yeah,
which happens.
Communication on the sideline.
And good quarterbacks will do that.
Someone not getting the call correctly, one of the players.
But yeah, the 91 yards. Even when you look back into the Green Bay game, there were some. Green Bay was not driving the field on their own. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. They literally, the Cowboys gave them so much yardage in key moments. And this defense that is struggling to get off the field on third down, they need to be more sound when they're dealing with those third downs, because it's deflating, and you want to get the ball back to your offense. So I know we're obviously happy about the performance. I'm looking at that as something that I'm really hoping that they can hone in on. Just some of the little mental errors, neutral zone infractions, little things like that. How can they shore those things up and not give first downs to people that don't deserve it?
Yeah,
because that offense, the Jets offense yesterday didn't deserve none of that. The way they was playing.
Yeah, and they got another game, another opponent that they should be able to get the rest of the kinks out. So I think that's what makes me optimistic about they didn't play down to what we saw in other teams. Like the Giants game coming at the end, they're like, oh, that was a game that we were like, okay, the Cowboys are going to come in, they're going to handle business, and they did not. They played with their food, and they barely escaped. Right? They were talking about the Jets record. Okay, the Cowboys weren't far from being that the way they were playing against the Giants. So I think this win was very much convincing. So let's go on the road, handle it again, build off what we saw here, because then coming back, we got a Commanders team coming to AT&T Stadium who's a little bit rolling right now.
Well, this defense is building off of what they've tried to put together this week. Hopefully they continue to build off of it. But this offense is certainly taken step after step after step, and it's not like they weren't really struggling. I mean, they just didn't have the pieces, considering without CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Turpin, for their starting offensive linemen. So really with their second team offensive line and taking on a defensive front with Quentin Williams and a couple of other talented guys up there. Talk about the standard, or not the standard, but what y'all saw from the offensive line, specifically Nate Thomas, who has certainly continued to play so well. And I feel like it kind of gets overlooked a little bit. Aisha, what you got?
Yeah,
that's your guy.
I was looking at y'all. No, I mean, first of all, I want to say, anybody that's like, it's just the Jets, teams don't lose almost their whole starting offensive line, and they're able to operate offensively the way that the Cowboys were yesterday. It's just not something that happens like that. As a matter of fact, I remember the days that if you lost the left tackle, then your offense was in the dirt. So I feel like I want to make sure that we highlight, again, this offensive line, these guys being ready, these backups being ready, and being able to come in and to really sustain the standard of what you wanted these guys to do. Dallas won time of possession by almost 10 minutes, and then being able to run the ball behind that offensive line. And when you talk about Nate Thomas, he always has thrived in the run game. Terrence Steele might have had his best game in the run game. And I think that TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman, how they have worked together all preseason, all that time, it's paying dividends for them to be able to work together. So for me, Nate Thomas, I will say there are some instances where he's still working his hands, still trying to be a little bit more polished and disciplined. There were a couple of times that he got his hands caught on the outside, but as a run blocker, just really has that mauler mentality off the ball. And they were able to drive that defensive line. Again, to your point, Nicole, about Quentin Williams, like, this is a guy that people have to double team regularly. This is not someone that people can just take out of the game, and they really took him out of the game. And that is not something that is easy to do. So I want to make sure, like, I agree. I feel like what we saw yesterday was incredibly impressive, because if you look around the league and you look at these teams who don't have their offensive line together, they don't look like how Dallas looks. And I want to give credit to Clayton Adams and Connor Riley and Schottenheimer for coming together. I felt like, well, I was hoping that with Clayton Adams coming here and Connor Riley coming here, these are two of the best offensive line and run game coordinators as far as how they scheme and stuff. And when you have guys out, I knew the clipboard warriors was going to have to come out, and they did this game, and they put this offensive line in advantageous situations. Also, the quarterback is quarterbacking on a high level right now, so that helps everybody. But this offensive line, y'all, don't take for granted the depth that is on this offensive line, because it is not the norm. Look around the NFL right now. It's some teams struggling, and they couldn't dare not have their starters out there and operate the way the Cowboys did yesterday.
Yeah. And Hakeem Adeniji, who veteran brought in, and local guy from Garland, Texas, Garland High School.
Come on.
Owls. I think when he was brought in, it's like, okay, going to compete for backup for swing tackle, right?
That's what I thought too.
But what I think a lot of us didn't remember is a few years back when Joe Burrow and the Bengals were making their Super Bowl run and having all that success, who was the starting guard? Adeniji. And so he was the one that stepped in at left guard yesterday and played so well. One of my favorite moments from the sideline was after the final offensive series before the kneel down, but the second to last offensive series when they came off, and Tyler Smith over there dapping him up and bro hug and all that good stuff and talking to him. And, that was really great to see. So, and Trevor Keegan, they gave him 2 series at left guard, one each half. But, the ability for them to step in and just looked like they didn't miss a beat, and
Yeah.
80% turnover, and to be able to do that, kudos.
That was the storyline going in, is how are they going to look without 80% of their offensive line. But I saw from what, obviously we haven't broke down film, but the plays that I did see, especially when we're talking about in the passing game, the run game has been pretty consistent with the O-line, no matter who they have on there. I think that's the most impressive thing about this unit as a whole. But in the passing game, like, Dak Prescott makes the O-line look even better. That's really what it is, to be honest. Because there was times where I saw we had some, I don't want to say rookies, but we had some
hiccups.
But what I saw was the offense trying to go a certain way, and we got tackles on somebody, like, I'm talking about defense guys were just coming through. Like, there was nothing there, and Dak has the ability to see it so early. It didn't. Any other QB, Justin Fields back there, that was going to be a sack, 110%. But Dak is able to get rid of that ball so quickly, because I'm like, who is on this guy? Because the way he just, boop, like, I'm just like, oh my God. But Dak got rid of the ball. It's either a completion or he's getting out of there. He ran the ball. He used his legs. I said, look at our QB, like, using his legs. But to your question, Nicole, when it comes to Nate Thomas, I think Nate Thomas has a job. Even when I don't think it's going to be Tyler Guyton's job. I think they're looking at him at right tackle, because he was getting in there in rotation for Steele
Before.
And the way he played and the way he's been able to hold up in there, his youth that we're talking about, I think he has a job when Tyler Guyton comes back. And I think that's going to be him being more in the rotation. And then I don't know. I just think Nate Thomas is making some noise.
Wait, so do y'all like him better at left tackle or right tackle?
Well, he can't really. I mean, he got the work in preseason and training camp at left tackle because of the Guyton injury at camp. So
I think he's stronger at left.
He played both last week, though.
But he can play right tackle. I mean, it's so weird with Terrence Steele, again, because there are times where you watch him, like I said, in the run game, especially yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean, he put it on it. He put it on some people. But then obviously, too, there's just instances in the passing game where it is just so evident that, you know, some of those guys with that interior speed are giving him some issues. I don't know. I don't know what Dallas does with Nate Thomas, because I do think that there are guys that show up, that play, that are so good that you as a coach don't feel comfortable. Like, it makes you uncomfortable almost to not have them out there on the field. So I really don't know what the answer is. It feels like a good problem to have at this point. Yes. But I want the best people on the field. And whatever that means, if that means somebody got to take a sit down, then somebody got to take a sit down, which, you know, that's not our decision. But still, I agree. It is making the waters a little murky, sister.
And it's a better position than the Cowboys were in last year and the year before, and I'm pretty sure years before, just in terms of depth, because I feel like we were sitting here all throughout the year last year like, dang, it's like a breakdown in there was a drop-off. That's the word I'm looking for. There was a drop-off in terms of production when you had backup guys coming in, because there were so many injuries last year. So certainly a luxury to have, but you also know what else is a luxury to have?
Javonte Williams.
Hello! Oh! All right, we're going to take our second break here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk. Break down Javonte Williams up next.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
The countdown to game day starts with Rally Days presented by SeatGeek. Get a behind-the-scenes look at AT&T Stadium, meet the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and alumni, play games, win prizes, and more. Get your tickets for the next Rally Day on October 18th at AT&TStadium.com/rallydays.
Woo! Welcome back into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. Nicole Hutchinson, Brianna Aldridge, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison, and ladies, we're talking about Javonte Williams because this guy has been a dude all season long. 16 carries, 134 yards, averaging 8.4 yards per carry. I think that's pretty good. 1 touchdown rushing, 1 touchdown receiving. And in the first half alone, the last Cowboy to have over 100 rushing yards was in 2014. He had over 100 in the first half, by the way. So definitely a milestone there. But talk about Javonte Williams, a free agency signing for the Cowboys who has battled a lot, battled injuries in the last couple of years. But Schotty attesting to it this week or last week, just saying that some guys need, multiple time, a lot of years to kind of fully recover. But yeah, just talk about Javonte Williams, what he's brought, and what you like seeing from him on Sunday. I know you're smiling at me.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
I'm listening. See y'all.
No, tough runs. I mean, yards after contact. That 66-yard run late in the first half was such a dagger. It really was. And set up Ferg's touchdown catch and to give him a bigger lead going into the half. But we've talked about it before, when what would be a 3-yard run becomes a 6-yard run.
I mean, yeah,
and
that
you can
first
stay
down.
stay ahead of the sticks.
It was that first down, right?
Oh, well, and also, the conversion. Let me say this. After Ferg's first catch, touchdown catch down the right sideline, earlier in that drive, it was the 3rd and 1 conversion, Javonte Williams, and Schottenheimer is down there congratulating Ferguson, of course, and then he turns and runs to catch Javonte, who's just now hitting the bench area, and because he knew how important that tough run was to keep that drive going. So just that attitude, and it gets the linemen fired up too, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I love the toughness.
Yeah, I mean his vision between the tackles, his patience between the tackles, the way he's able to put his foot in the ground. He's not a guy that's going to capture the edge all the time, but when he sees it, sometimes he can really attack angles. He said yesterday, and I thought it was awesome, and it also is a testament to what this staff and this offense looks like. He said, I actually know what I'm doing now. I'm not just out there just running. Little shade. But how, for a guy he's 25, this is a young guy still in his career. And, and for a guy that was looking to bounce back, I think this also plays into, again, this coaching staff understanding what these guys do well and playing to their strengths, and using him in the receiving game. That receiving touchdown. We heard Greg Olsen on the you guys in here. We heard him on the telecast saying that is almost it's unstoppable. Yep. More teams need to do it. And you got a guy that can do it. Pass protection, the way he stands up and takes blitzes, that's something he already was known for, the awareness that he has in there. I mean, you just really have an all-around back, and the Cowboys they evaluated him, saw what he was capable of. We had questions in preseason because we were like, we haven't seen him, we don't know, and they just were confident about what he was going to be able to do. I think the mixture of him and this offensive line and the receivers. Give these receivers some credit for what they're, and tight ends, for what they're doing in the blocking game. Brevin Spanford don't get enough love. Schoolmaker's been blocking well. The receivers on the outside, I think Tolbert has improved. Flournoy, obviously, like, there is a collective effort in the run game, and I think we're seeing that more, and I think that's also helping Javonte. But, yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to the Cowboys for signing him because they got him on a discount.
Facts.
They ain't going to be able to give him on a discount too long. He keep playing like that.
That's what I was about to say. The Cowboys love to sign somebody between $1 million and $3 million and see what hits. And, man,
He's hitting.
they went to TJ Marshall's and balled out and got something designer. It happens sometimes.
Just throw it in the bag.
It happens sometimes, but that's Javonte is our designer running back, and you really at this point, like Aisha's saying, like, yes, he's 25 years old, he's still young, and that's exciting, but he's also a veteran, so you're getting the best of both worlds, right? 2 years off that injury, it's really starting to show. He talks about it and he's asked about it nearly in the locker room after every game. Like, how does it feel to be at this point? And he's just very humble about everything. Like, hey, just kind of like what Dak was about the MVP chance. Like, hey, it's still early. I still got a lot to prove. But he continues to prove it each and every game. That 66 yard run, it just was like that he has arrived moment. They've been talking about, getting the bursty runs. He's been doing it every game, but that 66-yarder, I was just like, this is what it looks like when you have a real running back leading the room. So good luck when he comes and he's looking for that check. But he's earning every bit of what's coming his way.
Yeah.
But he is the running back.
Well, speaking of that, we may be going from TJ Maxx and Marshalls up to Nordstrom because he does have bonus. You're right, 1 year, $3 million deal, but part of his bonus is scrimmage yard incentive. So if he reaches 1,250 scrimmage yards this year, an extra $250,000, and then total touchdown incentive. Oh, this would be completely out of reach. 12. We thought so. I mean, that sounded like incredible before the season, but total touchdown incentive 12, another $250,000.
He's at 6 right now, right? Wait.
Well, let's see, 5.
Wait.
He has the
so
catch,
5,
so 5. Running and a
4
receiving.
before.
Okay, so 5 and a receiving. So there we go.
So he needs 12 for the paycheck?
Yeah.
He needs 6 more.
And then even for the rushing, he's on pace to pass that.
It's total touchdowns? Or?
Total touchdowns, yeah.
Oh, so yeah, he's at 6 right now.
Wow.
That's halfway through and we only at week 5?
And let me just say that Jerry Jones and Football Ops would be very thrilled to write that check.
Absolutely.
But
Both of those checks.
So we're talking about Javonte, and I know we're about to transition to talking about some of the receivers, but one of my things is that obviously Jadon Blue got called up yesterday. So Javonte Williams is playing fantastic football. I do think it is imperative that we figure out how to balance touches between him and another running back. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't even know if they're on the roster right now. Who cares? I do think to preserve him and the physical way that he runs the ball, I feel like you just have to figure out something to give him some opportunities. And I could be wrong. He might not want to take breathers. He might be a guy that wants to stay out there.
He probably doesn't.
He probably doesn't, especially with some of the incentives and all those things. But I do think that it is important that we figure out a way to not share some of his carries, but have a guy come in there and also contribute. Obviously, Miles Sanders is out. Yeah. I hope that that's something that they figure out as the year goes on, so we can have this Javonte later in the season.
In December.
Yeah, in December when it gets cold.
I will say to your point, I was kind of like when the game was pretty much in the bag, they were still feeding him, and it was kind of like let him rest up, because to your point, I mean, this is the argument across the league with the running backs and the pay they're trying to get is because their bodies don't withstand
it's longevity
like the other positions, and it's not fair, like, because every single play is hard contact. So to your point, Aisha, when I was looking, I was like, all right, this game is,
and he needs to fit. He's a momentum player though. Like you can tell I like having a running back that can wear on people in the fourth quarter. We ain't had that in a minute. I like that you can take the ball, they air out the ball, and just wear on people. I just want to preserve him as a player and also preserve the work that he has put in to be healthy. And I know that once you get later into the season, you're going to want that same energy, that same burst that he was able to display. Let's try to find a way to balance this out for him so we can get those
12
results.
games to go.
Absolutely.
Hopefully more.
Miles Sanders through the first 4 games, backing up Williams, had 28 touches.
Okay.
So 20 carries and 8 catches. So, giving him a little bit, so that's 7 touches a game.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
and if there's
but yes, you're gonna
it's something.
you should go on.
It's something. So, Big Flo, not the little one.
Yeah, well, we
gotta go.
But we're gonna make sure to touch on.
No, you're
Ryan
going to
Flournoy.
have Flo, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are gonna have him for Cowboys Hour tonight, 6 p.m. Be there at Sidecar. We will be there. Get a chance to hear from Ryan Flournoy after his. What was that? A career game?
Breakout.
Breakout. Tonight at Sidecar. But that'll do it for today's show. We will be back here at 8 a.m. tomorrow. For Brianna Aldridge, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison, I'm Nicole Etchison. We'll be back here tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?